You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and man, we're having a great show today. And this last guest, I cannot wait to introduce you to her. She's a former Division I college athlete, entrepreneur. She's a full-time mother, and she is now a LCSW mental health therapist and performance consultant and co-founder of La Vie Lifestyle. Welcome to the program, Mia Zambrano.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so well, and I'm so excited to talk to you because I have read through your bio and everything that you're doing and checked out your website, and I really believe that this topic is so important to, like high-performing entrepreneurs
Absolutely.
and business owners, and really anyone that's a go-getter. So talk to me a little bit. First, you were a Division I athlete, entrepreneur, and then what made you make the shift into, being a mental health therapist?
So I actually was a mental health therapist first. Well, of course I was an athlete first, but my whole life there was just very high competition and I loved it. I thrived in that. It was a way of pushing myself. I loved the team aspect. I was in leadership roles and I just saw, such value, and I feel like it carried me through in how I conducted myself in the professional world. And I also knew kind of a parallel storyline that I wanted to help others in a therapeutic counseling sense. So right out the gate, throughout my undergrad and graduate career, I went right into working as a therapist. And as I was moving through getting all these trainings and equipping myself with all this valuable evidence-based information, I just saw that so many other people could also be benefiting from this, right? Obviously, this population that struggles with mental health is going to benefit from these modalities and these strategies. And I feel as though people that push themselves that much harder often give themselves that much less.
Yeah.
And if you are challenging yourself that much more, that's actually when you need to give yourself more, right? In terms of your performance. So I just saw such a potential for crossover, and it started with working with athletes, which I continue to do. And to your point is if you're driven and you're competitive, that shows up in every aspect, especially as a business professional. And the more you learn about your mental health, just as you would your physical health, it works more for you rather than against you.
I so agree with this. And it's just really good timing that you're on the show. I just this morning saw a post, or maybe it was yesterday, saw a post with a friend of mine she's a mom of, I don't even know, maybe 3 kids, which I think you have 3, right? Two. Okay, sorry. But she posted something about the struggle of, this boss babe hustle culture. Mm-hmm. And she has mental health issues, and she's really just saying, hey, I am really struggling. This boss babe hustle culture that we have been promoting, and it's made a lot of people very successful, but it's also at the expense of people's mental and physical health. Yes. We had someone on earlier that talked about the physical side of things, and you're talking about the mental health issues, because she even goes on to talk about she doesn't have the time to even take her medicine. It's just this cycle, and we're harder on ourselves, the mental wheel of the negative self-talk. So Can you talk about, because I know on your website, so did I say it right, La Vie Lifestyle? Okay, great. So you offer individual therapy, lifestyle consultation, couples therapy, and performance coaching, all the things, right? So talk to me about how you kind of talk about this with your clients, how they can bring their mental health into it and balance the hustle culture with this, being aware of our mental health.
Yeah. So to your point, I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to achieve these high level goals, right? And what we don't realize is we're not going to be successful or not sustainably successful if we're not doing the basics. So we all have mental health. And I think that's something we need to accept, just as we all have physical health. It's just we're not as educated about it. I don't remember having any core curriculum in school about mental health. It wasn't until I took an elective psychology class that I got excited about it and was just baffled that this wasn't something we all learn about. Mm-hmm. But when something's not as familiar, we tend to judge it or question it, or it feels less approachable, right? So even like there's so much more we could do for our physical health. I'm sure we're all, can be acknowledged the accountability for that. But I feel like with mental health, we don't understand it as much. So even just giving ourselves permission to assess and say, our mental health is the quality in which we're attending to that area of our functioning, right? So
Yeah.
it's just the quality of which, whereas mental illness is there's something going on in my mentality that's impeding me from functioning in a certain way, right? So
Yeah.
we all experience stress and certain things to a certain extent, but where it starts to infringe on your relationships or how you communicate or how you perform a job or a task or whatever it may be, you're avoiding certain situations that are really necessary to your well-being or your growth. That's where you would go into a therapeutic relationship, right? That's the counseling aspect.
Right.
Performance, that aspect of things is this higher level. And I was speaking with a client the other day and she said, I really don't vibe with the, if it's not broke, don't fix it, because that's very like hindering, right? If you just accept something as it's fine. I mean, yeah, it will be fine. And there's so much more potential. And that's the population I love working with.
Right.
Because what I've done is I've taken these evidence-based strategies and tailored them to this competitive go-getter that knows they want more, but maybe has these emotional barriers that are coming into play. Or
Right.
sometimes these barriers are this self-doubt or these inner struggles that we're not even fully aware of until
Right.
we shine a light on it. And it's just monumental what you can do when that's pushed to the side.
Now, can you give us maybe 2 to 3 quick tips on what people that are really busy and are go-getters and hustlers, but also want to take care of themselves? What are some things that people can maybe today start practicing in their daily life to help with this?
Absolutely. I think we need to just even talk about the word self-care, but I talk about attending to the basics. And self-care is something I feel like has been very pop culturized and glamorized. And yes, sure, it's the spa treatments, it's the vacations, but really, again, the core of this is the quality in which you're taking care of yourself. And that comes with, even a foundational level. If you're not meeting your needs, your brain is not going to process anything else higher as relevant or important, right? The best joking example I can give is being hangry. I know I experienced it, right? Or we don't get enough sleep. So if you're asking yourself to function at a higher level, you have to attend to the basics. And not seeing that as essential, you are only harming yourself and the people around you. So saying, I don't have time to do X, Y, and Z, it's actually only going to self-care. I'm talking nutrition, I'm talking sleep, I'm talking, medication, I'm talking exercise. If you're not giving yourself permission to prioritize those things as you would a business meeting or whatever else that we're treating as essential, you're not going to show up with the same quality to those things.
So Mia, we're running out of time today, but I hope that you'll come back because I feel like we have a lot to dive into with all of this. And I really feel like our viewers could benefit a lot from what you have to say and teach. We can find you at levilifestyle.com and at le_v_psych on Instagram. Mia Zambrano, mental health therapist and performance